What's going on, traders? It's Kyle from K Capital. It is July 17th, Sunday. Hopefully, you're doing well. So, let's go over the macro picture first, then we'll go through our open positions, and then two new scan stocks that I actually just picked up on this morning to the long side. I'm hesitant there, and I'll get to that in a second just because where the macro environment is. So, let's talk about that. So what you're looking at right here is obviously the daily Dow. After Brexit, saw a huge down spike. We rebounded nicely, and I frankly thought we were going to hit 18,000 and pull back, but we didn't. We blew right through it. Basically because of a lot of the macro situations in terms of what Secretary Yellen said the Monday of this week that I'm highlighting here. She made some pretty bullish comments that I think are artificially sending the market higher. If you look at the total net cash inflows versus outflows for mutual funds, hedge funds, and other asset managers, you're seeing a lot of outflows, and a lot of the inflows I think are retail, which you can make a few different arguments here. For starters, we blew through 18,000, so obviously that's a good thing. We haven't done it ever. At least I don't think in the last 3 to 4 years. And it's a good story because you're trading above the 200 EMA. You're seeing nice upward momentum. Volume is not horrible, but when you see a lot of institutional players move out of the market and the market continue to go higher, that automatically reminds me of 2008 and 2011. So I'm hesitant. I've been saying I've been hesitant for literally, I think, 4 months now. Obviously, in those 4 months, the market has continued to go up, and we've made some nice profits in the short term. But we want to trade with the overall macro picture. So I'm still kind of neutral in territory right now. I think we will definitely pull back to 18,000, and it's going to be interesting to see if we hold that as a level of support now. The doji candle that we made Friday is pretty telling in the sense that the price movement wasn't large, so we didn't see really much movement in terms of the high and the low. And whenever we did make a new high, it was immediately sold off. And whenever we made a new low, you saw it kind of just get right bulb back into. And volume was, I would probably say, about average. So, that tells us a few things. Basically, I think the market's kind of like, okay, let's take a step back and chill for a minute. I think we're going to pull back to 18,000 because of it. Now, the really telling question is going to be, do we hold, the 18,000 to the 18,100 level? So we'll see what happens this week. I'm definitely still bullish. I'm still long in the sense of what I'm scanning for, just because we are making new all-time highs. I'm just not going to be very foolish in the sense of it definitely can't continue forever. So let's just see what happens Monday. We'll kind of trade from there. Looking at our overall positions, we're sitting in pretty good shape. Scene has recovered nicely. Earnings I think are coming out in August. We're trading along with the 13 EMA. You're seeing a nice trend here in the RSI as well as the Williams indicator. And frankly, I want to see us really bounce off of the 13 EMA here and continue back up to, hopefully 850. So nothing really major there. A few of you have asked, a few members have asked whether or not, they're going to release a PR for their new manufacturing plant, or what we're hoping will be a new manufacturing operation. I don't think they will. I don't think in the past they haven't released new news until the day of earnings on the call, which, frankly, from an investor relations standpoint, makes no sense to me whatsoever. I don't know who's managing their IR team, whether it's internal or external. It's pretty shitty, to be frank. They have updated sales because after their last call, they made an indication of, right when they got back to market with their first product, they did, I think, 1.5 million sales in the first week. Well, that information would be key to kind of give investors an updated status of where they're at. So they haven't done that. So I think because of that, I don't think they're going to change the trend all of a sudden to say, our operations are back and running. We opened this facility here. We're definitely back in the market in the USA. The products overseas in Australia are still having issues, blah, 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 blah. So we'll see what they say, but I'm not really hoping for much there. GPS, we're sitting at a nice, I think, 12-13% profit right now. We went long in 2082. We're obviously up in the 23, 24 range now. The one concerning element is this gap. on the daily it looks pretty crappy, but on the 15-minute it looked pretty good Friday and Thursday. So that's why I'm still holding this to see what it does this week. If we do break these lows here, obviously we'll look to sell. But for the time being, I think you can see this ride for a couple weeks, just like it did back here in March and April. So the initial test is still 24, 25, where the 200 EMA sits. GGB, corrected the ticker there. Thank you to a member who pointed that out. This chart's, frankly, it's perfect. A nice ascending triangle pattern here that broke out. We're long since 184, so we caught the momentum here before, obviously, the breakout, which is why we're so good at what we do. You're seeing a nice uptrend here again, just like seen. The downside here was on low volume, and that was Thursday, and we saw a nice uptick on Friday. So again, as long as the 13 EMA holds here, I think we should easily test. Again, something could happen on the macro picture, so I don't want to make it seem like it's a given. But we should be able to test here 230 to 240, which would test these highs. So again, we're sitting on a nice profit right here. We went long, I think, at 184. So congrats if you're in that with us. Zooms, ZUMZ. It's funny saying that. This is going to test, or has been testing this all last week, this 1550 to 1575 range. I want to see a new volume come in to test the volume of the 19th of June. So I was probably a little shy of 1 million shares. I think it just needs a little push, and I think this definitely will head up to 1650 at best. But you can see the overall trend has definitely shifted. So, breakouts here, when you see a consolidation phase, they're usually the strongest breakouts. And so what that means is, okay, you had a huge downtrend. People sold off after it broke through the 200 EMA. People probably shorted it here. News came out here to gap down, trades all the way down. Once we break the pattern of not seeing a new low, you start consolidating. What's it going to do? It's going to bounce here a few times, right? So basically made a new baseline, hit resistance, pull back, hit resistance, pull back, hit resistance, pull back. Well, what that's telling you is people are still buying up all the new lows there on any pullback, right? It's not making a new low to kind of continue the downtrend. So what you want to see is a shift in the price or a pivot point. So that's kind of the pivot point here, where you're going to break through the 70 or negative 70 Williams spot, and you're going to break through and hold the 50 RSI spot. So once you see that and you see a change in momentum, the next point or the next part of the pattern is really a breakout. So we're obviously assuming here that that's going to happen. Again, if the macro environment completely shits the bed, then we'll just take our stop and get stopped out, which is fine. But I think this is a nice setup to hopefully test 18, which would be a nice 20% return again. So let's see what happens with that. And last but not least is SC. This recovered beautifully Wednesday and Thursday of last week. It started to pull back Monday and Tuesday, but it just continued nicely. I was actually, to be honest, pretty surprised. So we are sitting at about a 50%, a 70-cent return so far. If you look at the similar pattern from back in April, once it broke through the 13 EMA, it pulled back, and then it just shot all the way back up to 14. So what did we do here? We broke through the 13 EMA, we pulled back, and we're going to continue up. Now, there might be some movement up and down here, but all indicators right now point to this hopefully testing at best 1250, which you'll see is probably a large area of, I guess you could say, supply, in the sense that people are going to be waiting here to kind of sell. And that's going to be a strong area of resistance. So we'll be patient with this to see what happens. Again, all of our positions are sitting at a profit besides SEEN. So it's it's been a good month. And on MGT and MQUR and SBGL, we've been definitely, I think, doing pretty well for the last probably 6 weeks. And just kind of trading what the market provides and what our scans and our algos kind of spit out. So congrats. Looking ahead, though, let's take a look at two new plays, NPTN and FRAN, F-R-A-N. So I think, starting with FRAN, nice breakout here. It's going to pull back. The key is, okay, what's it doing with volume when it pulls back? Volume's slightly lower on the pullbacks, which is fine. We're going to look to see if 13 EMA holds here. We'll go long, as long as that point, which is pretty much in line with prior resistance, holds, we'll go long and hope that we can fill this gap here back up to 14, probably 75. And also NPTN. So NPTN has actually already made its breakout from this prior point here. So what I'm looking for is actually a sell off back down to probably 1025. And I say 1025 because it's really this large candle here is the open of that candle with the largest volume is probably going to be a significant area of support. So we'll wait for a pullback here. If this rallies, we might just go long and just ride the trend. So obviously just stay alert Monday or Tuesday when the market opens. And that is it. Hopefully you guys like the new site. We've been kind of migrating to that over the last couple days. And we have some big news with a new partner that I'm going to bring you guys up to speed with next week. Company out of California, awesome guys out that way. I'll go into a lot of detail with that, but we're just trying to kick that off, now. Some more details to come with that. But nonetheless, hopefully you guys are making some money along with us. And if you have any questions, please shoot me an email, kcapitaladvisors@gmail.com. We will talk soon, and hopefully you guys are having a fantastic weekend. All right, guys. See ya.